Hello, everybody. Welcome to Global Substitute. Yet another great episode for all our mothers to know more and care more about ourselves. This month is a really special month for all mothers because it's the Mother's Day. Yes, we are not just going to celebrate in just one day of Mother's Day. We'll use the whole month to really pay tribute to all mothers in the world because they have done so much to nurture children for our next generation. Hi, my name is Pauline, and I'm a financial wellness mentor.
Hi, my name is Shirley, and I'm a beauty business coach.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a women's wellbeing coach.
And the three of us today, we are here to share with you more about how, as mothers, as women, how we can take care of ourselves better. As you can see, we come from different backgrounds. For me, in terms of financial and wellness, for Shirley in terms of beauty, and for Lisa in terms of mindfulness. So we have a lot to share with you, and I know mothers out there are looking at the community, looking at solutions, and looking at people who can share all these experiences with them. So today we are going to focus on this topic on career as well as business. All three of us, regardless whether it's Shirley, Lisa, or me, we are all career women, right? Some of us are employees for many years, and some of us own businesses. So we do have a lot to share while being a mother. How do we balance our life in terms of career, businesses, as well as our family? So let's start off with Shirley. Right? Maybe you want to share with us a little bit more. How does personal wellness impact your professional performance? Yeah, as a mother.
This is, I think, one of the hardest questions that I've been trying to sort of unveil myself because
Maybe before you start, Shirley, maybe you want to share with us a little bit more because I know you started off your business, right? Maybe you want to share with us a little bit more about your business, what you do, and then we talk about this topic. Yes.
yeah. Okay. So I started off as a small nail salon inside my home. Like I started off in my home with a little small nail table, nail technician, doing people's nails. And that just grew into an international business where I actually started a brand and started coaching globally and had an online educators platform where people can online anywhere in the world where they can come to my coachings and they can learn how to do nails, they can buy the product. But that started 12 years ago from my little home salon to me ending up in New Zealand and just taking it globally. But the thing is, I think for me even, it's always been, I want to be the best business entrepreneur, but I also want to be a really good mom. And not until long ago, I really was overthinking this so much, wanting to be the best for my business, but then, being so hard on myself, not being there for my family and not really seeing what they actually mean for me. Until last year, where me and my husband actually had a very sad discussion where it was not going so well in our relationship. And I thought that he's not really supporting me because he's always doing his thing, and I'm doing my thing. And really just coming together, and I said to him that this is what I need. This is what I need. And having that conversation with him, and then he actually opened up and had a conversation and said, but I am doing this. I'm just not doing it the way you think I'm doing it, So for me, I want to almost say it always comes back to building that relationship and really being connected. And we spoke about this in the past 2 episodes, being really present. Because if you don't really notice what is going on around you and who is impacting your life and what they actually are contributing to your life and not open to allow them, because I remember, and when in my chat on the Speakers Institute, I remember when I asked Sam this question. I said, how did you get this successful? And he said proximity, and it really is. But proximity doesn't really mean that you will always gain something from the proximity. Proximity means close loved ones, because those are the ones I feel has been given to you, to help and make you a better person. I just don't think I would have been able, if I really reflect back and I see where I started to where I am today. My husband has been such a big support system, and having an amazing support system, I think, is what was needed. I couldn't have done it on my Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So Lisa comes from a different perspective because she has been a career woman too, but more an employee. So from an employee's perspective, right, juggling the career and being a mother. So maybe you want to share with us how does this personal wellness impact your professional performance? Yeah.
So I worked full time, but I also was a marriage celebrant. So I had a side business as well. I've always been a wellness person, so I sort of like to speak to people to let them know about wellness. But if you haven't, you just have to be aware of your wellness. So when I was well, I performed better. I know, and I say people go to do Pilates. Okay, I'm a bit of a yoga person. You go and do Pilates, and it's like, it's really hard. But then the saying says it actually got really easy, and it wasn't that it was getting easier, it's just that I was getting better. Balancing the two was always, if you sleep well, you exercise well, you're going to perform better. But if I can perhaps touch on a backstory a bit like Shirley, I was married for 30 years, and up until 5 years ago, my marriage fell apart just over 5 years ago. And that devastated me. And that the wellness required for a woman in her 50s to pick up when I left the family home, I left one child at home, the empty nesting, the going through menopause, the height of well-being to maintain my career, maintain being a marriage celebrant, and now starting a business where I support divorced women. I need to be on top of everything from a health perspective. I need to eat healthier than I ever did, exercise more. And as Shirley said about the support system, like you beautiful ladies, I found, especially in my 50s and being divorced, I needed a whole new set of friends. And that is also very, in my age group, big for your well-being, to have the support of women and women who think like you as well. Women who think it's okay to keep studying, to go crazy hours to the gym so you can then actually go and work in a business and a career. Story's a bit different, but yeah, personal well-being will get you over the line time and time and again. So mothers, please continue. And I've got little grandchildren. Like I said in the last episode, my children want me out there exercising with them. My grandchildren are going to expect that as well. And so if I don't have a high level of personal well-being, as all of you ladies, I'm not going to be able to run with them when they want me to run with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see, in terms of the career side and the business side, as women, we still have to take care of our well-being as well. So if you want to find out a little bit more about what we do, the video is over here. All right, you can always click on the video. This is our first introduction video where we introduce ourselves a little bit more on the businesses that we are in and our background. So you can kind of like relate why today we are sharing this about business and career with you mothers as well. Or even if you are not mothers yet, right? One day you might be thinking of being a mother or even being a woman. How do we take care of our own selves in the midst of also fighting for our career as well as our business? So the next part, I think we are always looking at being a woman like a mother as we run business, right? There are so many things that we need to take care of, like for example, market expansion, like for example, market penetration, looking into different kind of strategies. And many of us, I'm not sure about Shirley, but I wasn't a business person to start with. I was a civil servant for 10 years before I started my business. So, frankly speaking, I know nothing about business. It's all a lot about trial and error. All right. Especially Singapore is a small market. Maybe I can do well in Singapore, but how about Malaysia? How about China? How about the island? Well, every culture, everything will be different. So maybe let me start off. If you are a business owner, right, you might want to listen more like how Shirley grow her business. I heard this word. And as you know, we are called global substitute. We are global. And she mentioned this word that she grew her business into a global business. Shirley, how did you do that? Share with us as a mother. How did you turn your business into a global business? Yeah.
Wow. Hard work. Hard work. A lot of tears. But no, just I think by staying in my lane, I knew what I wanted to do. I had a vision and I just focused on that vision and I continued building on that vision. And I wanted to give up a million times, more than a million times. But I continued and I pushed through because I had a really good support system. I think the biggest thing that I can tell you today, Pauline, is because I've never focused on the service or the product that I was selling. I was focusing on can I help someone else actually feel better, do better, and be better? It was always about someone else, and still till today, everything I do is not, I don't want to benefit from it, but then it just so happens that I do benefit and I get really successful, which I'm so blessed for. But even when I started doing nails, I wanted to do nails because we grew up in a very small town in South Africa where I grew up with the bare minimum. And I wanted to open up a shop where people can come and they don't have to spend a lot of money and they don't have to, you know. So the idea of my business model was brilliant, but it wasn't a really good model because I wanted to sort of, attract the people that don't really have the money. That's wanted to help them. And I quickly realized that I'm not just underselling my value, but I'm also not learning or teaching them anything. Because if you really want to do better in life, you need to go a step higher. You need to stand up for yourself. And when I was reflecting back from every year, where how I grew my business, I would see, okay, if I do this, if I implement some more services, I took out money to pay for these courses so that I am able to provide better services for these people. I can't keep my prices the same. I can't keep the products has evolved. So I need to evolve. And as I grew, I saw, and my prices grew, I saw that my clientele became better. It became more valuable. The clients that I attracted became actually the type of clients that I really wanted to work with. And I'm not talking about the rich and fancy and famous. No, it's just also people that can see your true value. They could really see what you have to offer and they just appreciate it. So I would say it's focusing on, you know, making life better for everyone around you and staying in your lane and really allowing the sun to shine over everyone. Because we all make the mistake of sometimes I'm not going to mention anything because just now she goes and reads that book and then I'm not going to, she's going to get the same results. No, we will never get the same results. We rather collaborate, rather join forces, than trying to do everything on your own. So yeah, that's how I did it.
Yeah, so really a good learning from Shirley, which is about the vision, right? I think vision is so important. How do you see yourself in that 20, 30 years time? So the vision is really where do we want to go in this business, right? It's so important. So we just stay in the lane and continue to focus on this vision that we have. And of course, I believe hearing from Shirley, she has a really great mission is to really make people better. Right, that's what she's focusing on. She's always focusing on having people to be better, how they feel better. And that is the whole mission that she is in. So this is really important as a business person. Like for me, I've been mentoring businesses and Shirley as well have been mentoring businesses because we are kind of like in our own right. We have earned our earned the right to really mentor businesses because of our experiences in running successful businesses before that. And I run the largest financial education company in the past for 14 years in Singapore as well as in Malaysia. And I also IPO this company. And I truly agree with Shirley that this vision is really important because when we started this company, it's really about educating people in terms of their financial health. Because I always believe every one of us, apart from our own health, we need to use money every day. But sad to say, in the school system, when we were growing up, there isn't a formal education to teach us about money, to teach us about investing, to teach us about how do we grow our money, to teach us this thing about passive income. So a lot of us kind of like didn't know what to do after we had probably started our career, maybe into some business of making money. Then what do we do with it? Right? How do we manage our financials? So that's the reason why I went into this business and really flourish because I really every day just focus on one thing, which is how can I make my programs better? How can I reach out to more people and how to help more people in terms of their financial health because they need it. Everyone needs it, be it young or old, right? So this is where running business is so fun having that kind of vision and mission. Now, of course, this vision and mission doesn't stay with just people who owns business. It also stays with people, I believe, who are currently working. And many of you, I believe, are also working mothers. You are employees as well. And sometimes you might be wondering, am I just working to keep a living? All right. So maybe Lisa can share with us. Because Lisa, how long have you been working? Maybe you want to share with us a little bit more. What is your background? How long? Because she has really been in the organization for a long time. And definitely she can share with you what keeps her going in this 30 years of a career.
What keeps me going? I think it's always
So
been
maybe
a
Lisa,
side.
you want to share what you do? Yeah.
So I worked for many years for state government, but I must say I always had a side hustle because there was always a business in me. Even when I was 20, I sold Tupperware. Everyone would know what Tupperware was. I sold Tupperware for years because working for someone was never enough. Yeah, no, I'm just going to have to tell you about where I've got to 58 and I've decided that it's time for me finally, where the children are older, I need to get going to business. As a marriage celebrant for 15 years, I did it for part-time. I always wanted to do full-time, but I didn't pursue my dream because of my children, because having the stable government job provided the income that I wanted. But now I'm pursuing my dreams and I've created a business for women. When I was divorced, I was at a loss. There were no programs or tools for me that were non-clinical to actually help me move through my divorce and recreate my new life. But being the Lisa that I am, who's always had a side hustle and always reaches up higher, I created a new life. And so many people said, Lisa, you inspire me. How did you do it? So now I'm using how did I do it to help other women move on. You've got women like financial Pauline, they're going to need your financial advice. Shirley, if they want to go into business, they're going to need your business advice. But from my perspective, I'm more from the spiritual and well-being and the recognition that women have it in them to be amazing, recreate a new life. They just need to look in to see what those internal tools like resilience, motivation, inspiration, intuition, we have it all. We just need someone to guide us. And as for staying in my lane, Shirley mentioned about having a mission. My mission is women in their 50s beyond divorce or loss. I've had men contact me and say, Lisa, can you do men as well? I've had 20-year-old women that have said, I've been divorced. I've only been married for 5 years, but I'm not. I'm sticking in my lane with us ladies in our 50s. So if you've got a full-time career, you're going into business, I want to show you how to recreate that new life. A bit of both, but if I just say one final message, if you are in a job but you dream of something bigger and better, you only live once. So try and follow your dream if you can make it possible, because there's no second chance. And working for someone else doesn't give you the same amount of excitement that working for yourself does and helping others.
Yeah. True. Well, I always believe that whether we are working for others or whether we are working for ourselves, definitely we must know what we are working for. And I don't kind of like subscribe to a lot of people thought, okay, this is work, and when I reach home, I'm going to just stop thinking about work and follow and just focus on family. For me, it's not just about work-life balance. It's really more about work-life integration, because my work is part of my life and I really love what I was doing, because it's so mission based, right? To help people to be financially savvy, they understand what they are doing, I can transform lives. I think even in our career, I believe, regardless what we are doing, now every day we spend 8 to 10 hours in the office doing the stuff. I believe as mothers, maybe it's a time to step back and also think through, why are we doing what we are doing? Even in a career, even if we are working for others, because our prime time is also there, right? So make full use of it. Is it meeting your vision? Is it meeting your mission? If it's not, then you gotta ask yourself this question: why are you still hanging on with that career? If it's just for the money's sake, then probably it's high time for you to think through, is there some side hobby or side hustle that I could think of doing to achieve that satisfaction, the life satisfaction? And when time is up, that particular side hustle is good enough maybe to earn a keep. That is where I can leave my job if I'm not finding any form of a satisfaction or fulfillment in that particular work that I'm doing. Some food for thoughts for all women and mothers out there as we are taking care of our families as well. So ladies, if you really like what we are sharing, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Global Sexitude. And in our next episode, we're going to share with you more about how women can take care of ourselves better. So see you in our next episode. Bye-bye.